Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
And now chapter 32, Conclusion.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
One who is famous as a Krishna-conscious man enjoys eternal fame. In the material world, everyone is striving for three things. He wants his name to be perpetuated, he wants his fame to be broadcast all over the world, and he wants some profit from his material activities. But no one knows that all this material name, fame, and profit belong to the temporary material body, and that as soon as the body is finished, all name, fame, and profit are finished also. It is only due to ignorance that everyone is striving after the name, fame, and profit that are connected with the body. It is deplorable to become famous on the basis of the body, or to become known as a man of spiritually developed consciousness without knowing the Supreme Spirit, Vishnu. Real fame can only be had if one attains Krishna consciousness. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 12 authorities, and they are all famous because they were all great devotees of the Lord. These authorities are Brahma, Narad, Lord Shiva, Manu, Kapila, Prahlad, Janaka, Bhishma, Shukdeva Goswami, Bali, Yamaraj, and the Kumaras. These personalities are still remembered because they were all great stalwart devotees of the Lord. In the Garuda Purana, it is said to be more rare to be a famous devotee of the Supreme Lord in the age of Kali than to be a demigod such as Brahma or Lord Shiva. Concerning talks between Narad and Pundarika, Yudhishthir said, "He is most famous and can deliver all others who, after many, many births, comes to understand that he is the servant of Vasudeva." Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 19, Krishna tells Arjuna, "Bahunam janmanam ante, gyanavan mam prabhadyate, Vasudeva sarvam iti, sa mahatma sudurlabha," which means, quote, "After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare." Unquote. In the Adi Purana, it is said that liberation and transcendental life follow all the devotees of God. In the Brihan Naradiya Purana, it is stated that even personalities like Brahma and other demigods do not know the value of a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Garuda Purana points out that out of many thousands of Brahmins, one may be expert in performing sacrifices, and out of thousands of such expert Brahmins, one Brahmin may be expert in the knowledge of the Vedanta Sutra, and out of many, many thousands of such Vedantists, there may be one person who is famous as a devotee of Lord Vishnu. There are many devotees of Vishnu, and out of them, he who is unflinching in his devotion is eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, Verse 4, it is also stated that there are many students of the Vedas, but one who is always thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart is the best student of all. In the Narayan Vyuha Stava prayers, it is said that if even the great Brahma is not a devotee of the Lord, he is most insignificant, whereas if a microbe is a devotee of the Lord, he is most famous. Lord Chaitanya next asked Ramananda Roy, "What is the most valuable thing in the world?" Ramananda Roy replied that he who has love for Radha Krishna possesses the most valuable jewel and the greatest riches. One who is addicted to material sense gratification or material wealth is not really considered to be wealthy. When one comes to the spiritual platform of Krishna consciousness, he can understand that there are no riches more valuable than love of Radha Krishna. It is recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam that Maharaj Dhruva sought out the Supreme Lord because he wanted to get some land. But when he finally saw Krishna, he said, "I am so pleased I don't want anything." In Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated that if one takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or is elevated to the supreme state of love of Godhead, he has nothing more to aspire to. Although such devotees can attain whatever they desire from the Lord, they do not ask anything from him. When Lord Chaitanya asked Ramananda Roy what is considered to be the most painful existence, Ramananda Roy replied that separation from a pure devotee constitutes the most painful existence. In other words, when there is no devotee of the Lord present, there is great suffering in society, and association with other people becomes painful. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 30, Verse 7, it is stated that if one who is bereft of the association of a pure devotee tries to become happy through society, friendship, and love, devoid of Krishna consciousness, he is to be considered in the most distressed condition. In the 5th canto of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Chapter 5, Verse 44, it is stated that the association of a pure devotee is more desirable than life itself, and that in separation from him one cannot even pass a second happily. Lord Chaitanya then asked Ramananda Roy, "Out of many so-called liberated souls, who is actually liberated?" Ramananda replied that he who is actually completely saturated with the devotional love for Radha and Krishna is to be considered to be the best of all liberated persons. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 14, Verse 4, that a devotee of Narayan is so rare that one can only find him out of millions and millions of people. "And out of all songs, what song do you think is the best of all?" Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked. And Ramananda replied that any song which describes the pastimes of Radha and Krishna is the best song. In conditional life, the soul is captivated by sex. All fictions, dramas and novels, and material songs describe love between men and women. Since people are so attracted to this kind of literature, Krishna appeared in this material world and displayed his transcendental loving affairs with the gopis. There is an immense literature dealing with the transactions between the gopis and Krishna, and anyone who takes shelter of this literature or of the stories about Radha and Krishna can enjoy actual happiness. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 33, Verse 36, it is said that the Lord displayed his pastimes in Vrindavan in order to reveal his actual life. Any intelligent person who tries to understand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna is most fortunate. The songs that tell of those pastimes are the greatest songs in the world. Lord Chaitanya then inquired, What is the most profitable thing in the world, the essence of all auspicious events? Ramananda Rai replied that there is nothing as profitable as the association of pure devotees. And what do you recommend a person to think of? Lord Chaitanya asked. Ramananda replied that one should always think of the pastimes of Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. Krishna has multiple activities, and they are described in many Vedic scriptures. One should always think of those pastimes. That is the best meditation and the highest ecstasy. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, verse 36, Shukdeva Goswami confirms that one should always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not only think of Him, but one should also hear and chant His name, fame, and glories. And what is the best type of meditation? Lord Chaitanya inquired. He who always meditates on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna is the best meditator, Ramananda Rai answered. This is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 14. Quote, "It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone who is the master of all devotees, whose name one should always chant, and who should always be meditated upon and worshipped regularly." Unquote. Where should a person live, giving up all other pleasures? Lord Chaitanya next inquired. Ramananda replied that one should give up all other pleasures and should live in Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna had so many pastimes. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 47, verse 61, Uddhava says that it is best to live in Vrindavan even if one has to live as a plant or creeper. It was in Vrindavan that the Supreme Lord lived, and it was there that the gopis worshipped the Supreme Lord, the ultimate goal of all Vedic knowledge. And what is the best subject to hear of? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next asked. The pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Ramananda replied. Actually, when the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are heard from the right source, one at once attains liberation. Unfortunately, it sometimes happens that people do not hear of these pastimes from a person who is a realized soul. Thus people are sometimes misguided. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 33, verse 40, that one who hears of the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis will attain the highest platform of devotional service and will be freed from the material lust which overwhelms everyone's heart in the material world. In other words, by hearing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, one can get rid of all material lust. If one does not become freed from material lust in this way, then he should not indulge in hearing of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Unless one hears from the right source, he will misinterpret the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, considering them to be ordinary affairs between a man and woman. In this way, one may be misguided. And who is the most worshipable deity? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next inquired. Ramananda Rai immediately replied that the transcendental couple, Sri Radha and Krishna, is the ultimate object of worship. There are many worshipable objects. The impersonalists worship the Brahmajyoti, for instance. But by worshipping objects other than Radha and Krishna, one becomes bereft of life's symptoms and becomes just like a tree or other non-moving entity. Those who worship the so-called void also attain such results. Those who are after material enjoyment, bhukti, worship the demigods and achieve their planets and thus enjoy material happiness. Lord Chaitanya next inquired about those who are after material happiness and liberation from material bondage. Where do they ultimately go, he asked. Ramananda Rai replied that ultimately some turn into trees and others attain the heavenly planets, where they enjoy material happiness. Ramananda Rai went on to say that those who have no taste for Krishna consciousness or spiritual life are just like crows who take pleasure in eating the bitter nimba fruit. It is the poetic cuckoo that eats the seeds of the mango. The unfortunate transcendentalists simply speculate on dry philosophy, whereas the transcendentalists who are in love with Radha and Krishna enjoy fruit just like the cuckoo. Thus, those who are devotees of Radha and Krishna are most fortunate. The bitter nimba fruit is not at all edible. It is simply full of dry speculation and is only fit for crow-like philosophers. Mango seeds, however, are very relishable, and those in the devotional service of Radha and Krishna enjoy them. Thus Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talked for the entire night. Sometimes they danced, sometimes sang, and sometimes cried. After passing the night in this way, at dawn Ramananda Rai returned to his place. The next evening he returned to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After discussing Krishna for some time, Ramananda Rai fell at the feet of the Lord and said, "My dear Lord, you are so kind to me that you have told me about the science of Krishna and Radharani and their loving affairs, the affairs of the Ras dance, and their pastimes. I never thought that I should be able to speak on this subject matter. You have taught me as you formerly taught the Vedas to Brahma." This is the system of receiving instructions from the Supersoul. Externally, he is not to be seen, but internally he speaks to the devotee. That is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord dictates from within one who is sincerely engaged in his service, and the Lord acts in such a way that such a person can ultimately attain the supreme goal of life. When Brahma was born, there was no one to instruct him. Therefore, the Supreme Lord himself instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge through Brahma's heart. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, Verse 22, Shukdeva Goswami confirms that the Gayatri Mantra was first imparted within the heart of Brahma by the Supreme. Shukdeva Goswami prayed to the Lord to help him speak Srimad Bhagavatam before Maharaj Pariksit. The first verse of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describes the supreme absolute truth as he who instructed Brahma through the heart. Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, states, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of the cosmic manifestation and its maintenance and dissolution as well." If we scrutinizingly try to understand the supreme truth, we can understand that he knows everything directly and indirectly. He is the only supreme personality, and it is he only who is fully independent. He alone instructed Brahma as the supersoul within. Even the greatest scholar becomes bewildered in trying to understand the supreme truth, because the entire perceivable cosmic manifestation is situated within him. Although this material manifestation is a byproduct of fire, water, air, and earth, it nonetheless appears to be factual. However, it is in him only that the spiritual and material manifestations, as well as the living entities, rest. Therefore, he is the supreme truth. Ramananda Rai continued speaking to Lord Chaitanya. First I saw you as a sannyasi, and then I saw you as a cowherd boy. I see before you a golden doll, and due to its presence, your complexion has become golden. Yet I see that your complexion is dark, like a cowherd boy's. Will you please explain why I am seeing you in this way? Please tell me without reservation. It is the nature of highly elevated devotees to see Krishna in everything, Lord Chaitanya replied. Whenever they see anything, they do not see the form of that particular thing. They see Krishna. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, Verse 45. Sarva bhuteshu ya pashyed Bhagavad bhavam atmana Bhutani bhagavat yatmani Esha bhagavatottama, which means, quote, one who is highly elevated in devotional service sees the Supersoul, Krishna, who is the soul of all individual souls, unquote. A similar passage is found in the 10th canto, chapter 35, verse 9, where it is stated that all creepers, plants, and trees, laden with flowers and fruits, were bent in the ecstasy of love for Krishna was the soul of their soul. After Krishna left them, those trees and plants became thorny. You have the highest conception of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Lord Chaitanya continued. Therefore, you are seeing Radha Krishna everywhere. Ramananda Rai replied, I request that you not try to hide yourself. I understand that you have accepted the complexion and mode of thinking of Srimati Radharani, and that you are trying to understand yourself from the viewpoint of Radharani. You have actually advented yourself to take this point of view. Although you incarnate mainly to understand your own self, you are at the same time distributing love of Krishna to the world. Now you have personally come here to deliver me. Please don't try to deceive me, I beg you. It is not good for you. Being very satisfied, Lord Chaitanya smiled and showed Ramananda his real form as the combination of Sri Radha and Krishna. Thus Lord Chaitanya was Sri Krishna himself with the external features of Srimati Radharani. His transcendental ability to become two and then to become one again was revealed to Ramananda Rai. Those who are fortunate enough to understand Lord Chaitanya as well as the Vrindavan pastimes of Radha and Krishna can be able, by the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami, to know about the real identity of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Upon seeing this unique feature of Lord Chaitanya, Ramananda Rai fainted and fell on the floor. Lord Chaitanya then touched him, and he came to his senses. Ramananda Rai was then surprised to see Lord Chaitanya again in his mendicant dress. Lord Chaitanya embraced and pacified him, and informed him that he was the only one to have seen this form. Because you have understood the purpose of my incarnation, you are privileged to have seen this particular feature of my personality, the Lord said. My dear Ramananda, I am not a different person with a fair complexion known as Gauda Purusha. I am the self-same Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, and due to contact with the body of Srimati Radharani, I have now assumed this form. Srimati Radharani does not touch anyone but Krishna. Therefore, she has influenced me with her complexion, mind, and words. In this way, I am just trying to understand the transcendental flavor of her relationship with Krishna. The fact is that both Krishna and Lord Chaitanya are the original personality of Godhead. No one should try to eliminate Lord Chaitanya from Sri Krishna. In his form of Sri Krishna, he is the supreme enjoyer, and in his form of Lord Chaitanya, he is the supreme enjoyed. No one can be more super excellently attractive than Sri Krishna, and but for Sri Krishna, no one can enjoy the supreme form of devotion, Srimati Radharani. But for Sri Krishna, all Vishnu forms are lacking this ability. This is explained in the description of Govinda in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There it is said that Srimati Radharani is the only personality who can infuse Sri Krishna with transcendental pleasure. Thus, Srimati Radharani is the chief damsel of Vraja in love with Govinda, the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Please rest assured that I have nothing to hide from you, Lord Chaitanya told Ramananda. Even if I do try to hide from you, you are such an advanced devotee that you can understand all my secrets. I request that you please keep this a secret and do not disclose it to anyone. If it were revealed, everyone would consider me a madman. The facts which I have disclosed to you cannot be understood by materialistic people. When they hear of this, they will simply laugh at me. You can understand this yourself and keep it to yourself. From a materialistic point of view, a devotee becomes mad in his ecstasy of love for Krishna. Both you and I are just like madmen. So please don't disclose these facts to ordinary men. If you do, they will surely laugh at me. Lord Chaitanya then passed 10 nights with Ramananda Roy, enjoyed his company, and discussed the pastimes of Krishna and Radha. The discussions between them were on the highest level of love for Krishna. Some of these talks are described, but most of them could not be described. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, this has been compared to metallurgic examination. The metals compared are discussed in the following sequence: first copper, then bronze, then silver, gold, and at last touchstone. The preliminary discussions between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Rai are considered to be like copper, and the higher discussions are considered to be like gold. The fifth dimension of their discussions, however, is considered to be like touchstone. If one is eager to attain the highest understanding, he must begin with an inquiry into the differences between copper and bronze, then silver and gold, and so on. The next day, Lord Chaitanya asked Ramananda Rai to allow him to return to Jagannath Puri. We can remain together the rest of our lives at Jagannath Puri and pass our time in discussing Krishna. Lord Chaitanya then embraced Ramananda Rai and sent him to his own place. In the morning, the Lord started on his journey. He met Ramananda Rai at a temple of Hanuman on the riverbank. After visiting the temple of Hanuman, he left. As long as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at Karpura, all kinds of people met him, and by his grace, everyone became a devotee of the Supreme Lord. After Lord Chaitanya's departure, Ramananda Rai became overwhelmed due to his separation from the Lord, and he immediately decided to retire from service and meet the Lord again at Jagannath Puri. The discussions between Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya deal with the most concentrated form of devotional service. By hearing these discussions, one can understand the pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna, as well as the confidential role played by Lord Chaitanya. If one is actually fortunate enough to have faith in these discussions, he can enter into the transcendental association of Radha and Krishna.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
This ends the narration of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the Golden Avatar. It was written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In this context, the word Acharya means a person who is perfected in God consciousness, and who also teaches others by both precept and example how to perfect themselves. The song heard at the beginning and end of each chapter was sung by Srila Prabhupada. The musical selections, sound mixing, and engineering were under the direction of Neil Schlachter, and the director and narrator of this production was Amala Bhaktadas. This has been a Krishna Productions presentation. The text of the book was copyrighted by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust of Los Angeles, California in 1975. The performance and recording were copyrighted by Amala Bhaktadas in 1991, and all rights are reserved by both parties. We hope you have enjoyed listening to this narration. If you would like to listen to other such transcendental recordings, please write or phone for our catalog. Thank you for allowing us to share with you the glorious, enlightening words of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who descended from the spiritual world to earth to teach all humanity how to taste and relish the nectar of devotion to Lord Sri Krishna, and thereby realize the Lord through loving service to Him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati